So here we are. First video without a helmet on. I'm sure it's weird for you, it's weird for me too, but don't worry, we got a brand new helmet in the mail today. So even though we're not wearing helmets as much, we're still gonna get some use out of this one. So let's crack it open and see what we got. So first things first, let's get this bad boy out of the shipping container. So let's remove all this bubble wrap here so that you can see our glorious new Captain Rex helmet. So I've been waiting for this bad boy for a while. Pretty sure it got announced back in like August of last year when the Ahsoka series came out, because this is based on like the live action appearance that he was in. So this is a Black Series helmet, another one to add to the collection. This is their newest one, and I'm really excited to get this opened up. So real quick, before we actually open up the box, we can take a look at the outside of it, because I feel like the Black Series from Hasbro, they always do really good presentation on the boxes themselves, and they've definitely honed it over the past few years with the Black Series boxes. You kind of can see them evolve with each one. So you can see here, they kind of just tell you about how you have like your rangefinder here that can go up and down. And then on this side here, they tell you about how it flips down. There's a voice changer in here. There's adjustable fit, so there must be a strap in there. You can see it tells you what it's from. They always do that with all their Black Series stuff, even like the action figures too. So this one's from the live action version of Captain Rex in Ahsoka. You get a side view here, you get a little art here, Hasbro logo, Black Series logo, Star Wars logo, all that nice stuff. And then on the top, and they always have this on the boxes here too, they get you like a side profile with the logo next to it, which always looks really clean. So the presentation on these boxes always is an A+ in my book, because it always just looks really good all together, and the presentation is just really clean and neat. So let's open it up from the top here and see what we got going on. I wish you guys could get a good whiff of what I'm smelling here. It's that fresh new plastic helmet smell. It's like music to my ears, or rather my nose. I love that new plastic smell, and maybe I'm crazy for that, but it's always a nice smell when you get that new fresh helmet. So let's take our helmet out here, if it wants to come out. There we go. And then it looks like we also got our rangefinder here. So let's take that out. Let's get the box out of the way, and let's start putting this helmet together. So let's get this plastic off here so we can see this helmet in its full glory. It's pretty hefty too. It's got a decent weight to it, so that's good to feel, because I always like when they feel more sturdy. Ooh, that is nice. That's a good finish on there. Nice and glossy where it needs to be, but then it's got nice damaged areas everywhere else. It's definitely very hefty. That's a good first impression right there with the mere heft of that helmet. Looks like mine might have a scratch on it. Oh, nope, that's on purpose. See, they got all this battle damage on here. At first I thought mine was actually scratched, but I guess it's kind of hard to tell the difference. But looks pretty good. Let's get this rangefinder on here. So I'm assuming it's just gonna snap right into place here. Oh, perfect. Oh, and it goes down. Ooh, it's real smooth too. I have a different Captain Rex helmet I can show you guys in a minute here, an old Hasbro one that also had a rangefinder, and it's much more like boom, 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 like it has kind of stages to it, but this one's very clean up and down, so that's a good sign too. And then of course we got our voice changer button on the opposite side from the rangefinder here, so we're going to need some batteries for that. I'm assuming the voice changer is going to be somewhere right in there like it usually is with the helmets. So we're going to get some batteries, put those in, get this helmet on, and see how it feels. So we've got batteries in the helmet now. It was super easy. You just pop this back panel off here, and then there's another panel there that you just need to take off with a screwdriver, and then you put 3 AAAs back there. So that's for our voice changer, which you'll see in a minute here. But here we have our helmet in full glory here. The detail on this one, it's pretty impressive, because you know, they get all the welding marks here, like it's even like raised, like you can feel, like obviously it's plastic, but you can see and feel kind of like those raised metal here, or rather the raised plastic where the welding marks would be here. And they also have like this kind of rust from where the welding would be, plus like you saw all the battle damaged scars and marks all over the helmet, even on the back, on the top, just everywhere all over the helmet. There's the big blast mark on the front here. So they really have all the battle damage and kind of the scoring and everything done really well on here. Overall, it's like one big matte finish on the helmet. So some of it I wish maybe you would feel a little bit more rough around the edges versus that flat matte finish, but I feel like that would be a little bit more difficult for them to accomplish on a helmet as a whole. It's probably easier to just print one big matte finish, but all the other details are there in visual. And of course we have all the hash marks on the sides of the helmet, just like Captain Rex has. And you can also see with the rangefinder here, it goes up and down. And you can probably also hear the sound effects as well, which I don't think there's ever been a Black Series helmet that has had a rangefinder that you can just push up and down and also has sound effects. Because I know the Boba Fett helmets, they had rangefinders that you could push a button and they would flip down, but they weren't manual, they were just a button. So this one you can flip down yourself and they have those sounds there. But with the Boba Fett one, I remember it's a button that you push and it kind of just slams down from gravity because it's kind of a heavier rangefinder. But this one stays up by itself and you can just push it right down. So I like that feature a lot more than kind of the Boba Fett one where you push a button. And I suppose since we do have the voice changer function, I'll give you a tour of it here. So on the inside here, you can kind of see right in there. That's where your microphone is. Usually they have a microphone that pops out of the helmet, but it looks like this one's kind of built into it. So I'm curious if that's going to make the quality of the voice changer any better. I doubt it. I've never thought that the Black Series helmets have had great voice changers. It's never been a draw of the helmet for me. I know a lot of people modify their helmets. I never get one of these helmets thinking, oh, the voice changer is going to be really good, or oh, I'm getting this for the voice changer. I'm getting it for the helmet to wear and how it looks. The voice changer I don't really use. So I put the batteries in there just so we could see how it sounds, but I'll probably end up taking them out anyway. So let's try it out here. So you just push this button on the side here to turn it on, and then you turn it back off. So you just kind of keep pushing that button. So let's see how it sounds here. So for me in the helmet, I can kind of just hear my own voice. I can kind of hear the helmet on the outside, but since it's just kind of so loud inside the helmet here from my voice reverberating on the inside, I can't really tell how it sounds on the outside. I guess I'll see it in the video playback when I'm editing this, but it's not that loud on the outside, because if it was, I'd definitely be able to hear it more from the inside over my own voice. The voice changer, I don't know why they always feel the need to add this on helmets. I feel like they just do it because it's a trooper, like with Stormtroopers they have it, with Kylo Ren they have it. His made more sense to have because of the voice actually changes in the helmet, but that one was never that high quality either that it changed that much. With this one, I feel like they should just have kind of like a muffling helmet sound like they do in the movies, and not necessarily a changer. Like this, it sounds like it's making my voice deeper or kind of distorted, which is never really how the clones sound. It's just kind of sounds a little bit more muffled, or like it's going through like a breathing apparatus. So I've never been too impressed with the voice changing aspect of these helmets. I mean, it's cool that they add it on, but it's never been a selling point for me. Plus, I'm sure you could tell when I was talking there's a little bit of a delay as well. At least I can kind of hear that on the inside. And then when you're done talking, it's kind of a cool like aspect that they added to it, at least, where when you're done talking, it kind of has a little static, like if you're on a walkie-talkie and you say over and then it cuts out. So I'll let you hear that here in just a sec. Like that right there. So it's kind of a cool aspect. It's nicer than some of the older helmets that they have for voice changers, but still, once again, not that much of a draw for me. But as far as comfortability goes with this helmet, you can see I got some red marks on my head from the inside headband here. It's kind of the same headband that most of the Black Series helmets have, where it's that adjustable helmet, or that adjustable head strap. And it's working pretty well for them in the past. They're never that comfortable, but they're never like uncomfortable. Like I have some other helmets from like Cybercraft, if you know them. They're a Russian helmet company. I've talked about them in the past. Theirs are much more padded than this one. Like you can see on the inside, it's just kind of that rubber strap there and not really much else. So it's not very soft on the inside, but at least it keeps your head very stable on the inside. So if you turn your head, the helmet turns with it. It's not like very jiggly. I'll show you here with me turning my head. So if I turn my head left, it turns right and left pretty quickly. It's not like it's moving, bouncing around left and right on my head. Some of the Black Series helmets do. I've had it in the past where the head straps, whether it's from me not tightening it enough or they're just not that good of a strap. Sometimes they'll just kind of wiggle on my head. I know some of the really big, like first order Stormtrooper helmets, those ones can kind of get pretty loose just because they're so big. This one's also, it's kind of a bigger helmet. I think just because of the nature of the Phase 2 helmets with those big jowls on the side and kind of the big dome here compared to the Phase 1 helmets where they're a little bit slimmer. This one's just kind of bigger in nature, but I do like how hefty it is. It's got some weight to it. So it feels nice and good on the head, and it's not too uncomfortable. It's just not super padded, but I mean, that's just kind of par for the course with a lot of the Black Series helmets at this point. So then, just for comparison to our Phase 2 Black Series helmet here, made by Hasbro. This is another one that was made by Hasbro, however, very heavily modified by me. They made a Captain Rex helmet back in 2008, 2009. And it was more of like a toy helmet. It wasn't so much of a replica one as this. You can see there's like a lot of seams where it like breaks into two. I mean, back in the day, they mostly only ever did like front halves of the helmet. They never gave it two halves. So this was kind of a rarity. And you can kind of see here, this is a custom helmet that I did myself just with the original Hasbro helmet. I painted it a lot. I put a lot of like car paint on it, and I made it a lot more sleek than it was as a kid's toy. The visor was originally a lot bigger, but I added these 3D printed pieces here to make the visor a little bit more screen accurate. So this was just kind of my little passion project of customizing this one, because I made this probably 3-4 years ago now, and they had never made a Captain Rex Black Series helmet, and I wanted to make my own. I wanted a Captain Rex helmet, and they hadn't made one yet, so I just kind of did my own. And so this is kind of what I came up with, this Phase 1 Captain Rex here. I mean, I think it's pretty good for the materials I had available. Obviously, it's not as great as this one now. I'm glad I have this version here too, but these will look cool, the Phase 1 and 2 next to each other on my shelf, so I'll definitely still keep this one. Plus, I have a little sentimental value because my mom helped me make it. She's pretty crafty, and I didn't even know where to start with this, so she helped me out a lot. But I'll mention, I talked earlier about that rangefinder that's on this one here, so you can see, oh geez, it's really crispy too. You can see it, it's really loud. It's probably because I haven't moved that rangefinder in a while since it's been on my shelf. You can see that you just got to move that rangefinder yourself. Oh god, this is gonna be loud. I'm gonna have to bring that down in editing probably. But yeah, it's definitely not as high quality as this one over here, especially that rangefinder. Now that I look at it again a couple of years later here, since I haven't moved it in a while, it's pretty loud. But for what I had, it was a fun project to do, but just for a little comparison there. And then I'll also show you my Boba Fett helmet, like I mentioned with that rangefinder. It has a button there. You push it and it kind of falls down there, and then it clicks back up into place. And you can also see it has these lights that go off here. That one has no lights at all. I thought it might with the inside, because you can kind of see on the Boba Fett one here, you can see it's got this light up screen here as well on the rangefinder, which I thought was a pretty cool detail. And then you can also remove this front screen and see that in the front as well. So I like that aspect of this rangefinder. However, I do have a gripe with kind of how, I mentioned earlier, how it just kind of drops down and it like bounces. It doesn't look very sleek. Like in the movies, it kind of comes down like this, and it's a lot more smooth. Granted, this is just a $120-some replica helmet from Hasbro, a toy company, so I'm not expecting too much, but I definitely do prefer this one here, how you can just flip it down. It's a little bit more smooth, and I like that sound effect that it plays too, which is pretty cool. But you can see on this, let me see if I can get you a good angle. Might as well just take the rangefinder back off here. On the inside, there's not really any screen. You can see that they've kind of printed a little bit of what that rangefinder screen would be, but they don't have it light up or anything. But I guess I would rather have the functionality of how easy it goes down there versus a light up part. So I definitely think that's a necessary compromise to have a better rangefinder. So all in all, I do think this is a really great addition to the Black Series collection here of helmets. I've been waiting for a Captain Rex helmet for a really long time. I'm glad they finally did it. They saw an excuse with the Ahsoka series. They had a live action Captain Rex. They're like, okay, now's our time to do a helmet. I wish they would have done it sooner. They definitely could have with Clone Wars and just made it look live action. I don't see a problem with that, but I think they saw their opportunity here with the Ahsoka series and they finally took it, which I'm glad they did. I'm definitely happy with the improvements they made with the whole rangefinder situation. I really like that aspect. It has pretty good visibility too. Granted, it is kind of that phase 1 visor where it's a lot slimmer than some of the other ones, so it's not the best helmet to have visibility out of, but then again, I'm not getting helmets to see well out of them, never have been able to. Now that I'm not wearing helmets in videos, it's a lot more comfortable and I can see more, but I've never bought helmets for the visibility, but this one is a little bit better than some others that I've worn. It's not as good as the Scout Trooper Black Series helmet. That one probably has the best visibility out of any helmet I own other than maybe the Mandalorian one, because there's also kind of that T-visor in the front where you can kind of see, you can kind of see down the mouth too. So that's kind of another aspect to think about when you're looking at visibility. But this helmet is still pretty comfortable too. It's not padded or anything, but it does have that nice rubber strap, so it stays on nice and tight. So I don't know if this is the best Black Series helmet yet, because they keep getting better, in my opinion, usually. Like the Scout Trooper one was my favorite. Now it's probably still my favorite. I think it has the best visibility, comfortability, everything. The whole front face can lift up and everything. But this one still is a great addition. It's not the best one yet, but they keep getting better, so I have hope yet that they're going to perfect it, maybe get some more padding in there. But I like what they've done with the rangefinder. I like what they've done with how much detail is on this one, because this is a pretty intense helmet for detail with all the scoring and the welding marks and everything. So they've definitely knocked it out of the park there with all the detail on everywhere on the helmet. So that is definitely a plus there. So let me know in the comments what you think about the new Captain Rex helmet from the Black Series. I think it's a great addition. It'll look really great next to my Phase 1 helmet on the shelf. I'm glad they finally did a Captain Rex helmet. I've been waiting forever. I'm glad they finally got around to it. Are you going to be picking it up? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.